This is the Community Data Program's IMDB ICARE Dashboard. This dashboard presents data from the Longitudinal Immigration Database ICARE tables T1 and T2, available in the CDP catalog, in a series of interactive charts. The dashboard opens onto the Welcome page. Here you can find a description of its contents and buttons to access notes on the data sources and to view the dashboard. This button brings you to the dashboard. The dashboard is organized into 8 sections, each presenting data from the ICARE tables in a different arrangement. You can use the buttons at the top of the screen to navigate these sections, and the tabs at the bottom if you want to return to the Welcome page. The first 7 of these 8 tabs are time series, which show the number of immigrant tax filers annually, in addition to different indicators on immigrant tax filers, and compares these with different measures or across different variables in a dimension. The IMDB tables are longitudinal, meaning they can track the same groups of immigrant tax filers across multiple points in time. The landing group dimension controls the group of immigrant tax filers you are viewing data on. The tax year dimension allows you to view information on a given landing group from that landing group year onwards, or as far back as 2012. This first tab shows a line graph of immigrant tax filer mobility measures by tax year. Each line represents a different mobility measure, and the definitions for these measures are found on the right. Each tab has 2 drop-down menus under Select Geography, which are used to select the geography the chart is displaying data for. First, you select the scale or level of geography you wish to use. The options are all of Canada, provinces, census divisions and subdivisions, and local immigration partnership boundaries. Then you use the second menu to choose the specific geography at that level. The second menu will list all geographies at the selected level, and you can use the search bar to search for a geography by name or by its census UID. The Select Landing Group filter selects the landing group you are viewing data on. The chart will display data on only the immigrant tax filers that landed in Canada in the selected landing group year. So the tax year dimension of the line chart will show that year and all subsequent tax years going as far back as 2012. As the data in the ICARE tables covers the 2012 to 2019 tax years. In this first tab, it's possible to select multiple landing groups at a time because the mobility measures shown here represent counts which can be aggregated. In the other tabs, you can only select one landing group at a time, as they contain variables which can't be aggregated. Currently, all landing groups are selected, so it's showing data for all immigrant tax filers that landed between 1980 and 2018. If I select just 2013 for the landing group, then it's showing data on immigrants that landed in 2013, in the 2013 tax year and onwards. The geography and landing group you've selected are displayed under the title above the chart. The menus under Filter Data allow you to filter the chart to show data for different subsets of immigrant tax filers within the selected landing group and geography. You can filter the chart to only show data on immigrant tax filers from a specific admission category, born in a selected world area, or that received a specific settlement service. So for example, if I select refugees from this menu, I'm viewing mobility data only on refugees from this landing group. You can also use these checkboxes to hide or show any of the lines in the line chart in case it appears too busy or any one line is skewing the appearance. These checkboxes can be found in any of the tabs containing line graphs. The next tab is a time series of retention rates for immigrant tax filers. You can find the definition of retention rate at the top of the page here under the title. This tab uses a bar chart rather than line chart, so it can show as much information as possible at once. And each section of the bar chart is a landing group and shows the retention rates of that landing group across all available tax years. The geography selection and data filters on this tab function the same as the previous tab, and across all other sections of the dashboard, though the filter data options vary. The Income Time Series tab compares 3 different income statistics for immigrant tax filers across tax years. As I mentioned before, you can only select one landing group at a time in this tab, and in all subsequent tabs. The filter menus here are otherwise exactly the same. The same goes for the next tab, which shows the incidence of different income types for tax filers from a selected landing group across tax years. Incidence refers to the percentage of immigrant tax filers receiving that type of income. The next 3 sections of the dashboard are also time series, but rather than comparing measures, they each compare immigrant tax filers across a different dimension and allow you to select the measure that's being charted. Currently, this tab is showing the number of immigrant tax filers by tax year compared across admission categories. Using the menu under Data Selection, you can select a different variable to chart. For example, now the chart is showing median income by admission category and tax year. Or you could view retention rates. Hovering over this information icon next to the Data Selection menu will show you definitions for all the variable options. The Geography Selection, Year Selection, and Filter Data menus work exactly the same as in the previous tabs. The next tab has the same functionality but compares immigrant annual tax filer variables across world areas of birth. Then the following tab is the same again, but for settlement services received. The final tab is called the Single Year Profile. This tab displays data for a landing group at a single point in time. You select a geography, same as the previous tabs. Then in the Year Selection menus, you select the landing group, then the tax year. The charts in the tab will display data on the selected landing group in the selected tax year. The bar charts here by default show the number of immigrant tax filers across the different dimensions, but using the data selection menus next to any of the charts, you can change the variable that is charted. So for example, we can now see median total income by settlement service. You can use the tabs at the bottom of the screen to return to the welcome page. And finally, I'll just show you the data sources and notes section, which has information on the ICARE tables and some of the terms used throughout the dashboard, as well as links to where you can find and download these tables in the CDP catalog.